Arkansas, the story of black music is deeply woven into the story of the state itself. From historic streets in Little Rock to blues-rich highways that stretch throughout the Delta. While some of the stories are lesser known, their impact spans generations and genres.
Music has played an important part in the history of black Arkansans, going all the way back to the days of enslavement with work songs, which eventually form the basis of the blues and gospel, which then take us to R&B and rock and roll and hip hop.
Now we go climb out to my truck.
From the haunting, soulful strands of the Delta blues to today's chart-topping hits, Arkansas has firmly etched its legacy into the heart of American music, and it's a story that continues today. For over a century, the natural state has been a starting point and sanctuary for musicians chasing their dreams.
The Chitlin Circuit was a series of venues throughout the East Coast, the South, where black musicians could play and black fans could come and watch.
And Brian Rogers with Mosaic Templars Culture Center says Little Rock's historic West 9th Street is the cultural crossroads where those dreamers met.
This was where there were black businesses, black homes, black churches, and one of the significant things that was here was the music venues. The Dreamland Ballroom.
The Dreamland Ballroom stood as an Arkansas stop on the Chitlin Circuit, a network of venues that gave black entertainers a stage in the segregated South.
When you had artists like Billie Holiday and Nat King Cole and the Duke Ellington Orchestra, when they would tour and come through Little Rock, they would play 2 shows in the city. One at the Robinson for their white fans. Then after that show ended, they would all come down to West 9th Street and play one of the venues here.
And it wasn't just blues and soul. Arkansas gave rise to black musicians in classical genres.
Florence Price, who was a classical composer who grew up in the Dunbar neighborhood, or William Grant Steele, who was another classical composer from Dunbar.
And then there's the genre creators.
Didn't it rain, children?
There's Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who is widely considered to be the godmother of rock and roll.
The region, especially the southern stretch near Mississippi, became a magnet for talent. They're originators of the Delta Blues.
Our highway represents a geographic span where you have clubs and juke joints and little dives where all of the greats would go.
Jimmy Cunningham, the executive director of the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Alliance, calls it Cotton Country, a dynamic area that spurred the creation of venues welcoming musicians from all walks of life, like in the heart of Pine Bluff. This musical migration continued downriver along what is known as the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Highway, stretching from Pine Bluff to Greenville, Mississippi. It's a trail where gospel, jazz, blues, and even ragtime echoed through clubs and saloons.
This part of downtown, east of Main Street, was the area that clustered African-American businesses. So you would have had vaudeville and ragtime over there. You would have had jazz and swing and blues over here. This is a place where the spirit of that music lingers.
A century later, those sounds are celebrated and preserved, not just on stage, but over the airwaves.
For my life, Lord, I thank you.
You always, no matter if it's Power 92, KOKY, Praise, 3 different formats. One's gospel, one's adult, one's hip hop. But every Sunday morning, you're going to hear gospel. Something gospel every Sunday morning on all those stations, because the stations are built around lifestyle.
No matter the genre, music makes meeting people where they are just a bit easier. A legacy that continued through events like Arkansas's massive annual Juneteenth celebration brought up incoming artists to the natural state.
Down, down, do your dance, do your dance.
Juneteenth was it back in the day, I'll say. And to see it grow and develop from the 90s into what had happened in the 2000s was something that was very special for the city.
Music, culture, and history converge every year at the Juneteenth Festival in Little Rock, a tradition rooted in education, freedom, and sound. Music is more than entertainment, it's legacy.
Arkansas history and the history of Black Arkansans are intertwined. You cannot separate the two.
And I sing because I am so happy.
It tells the story of the people.
Yeah.
It tells the story of a broader social context. We contributed to music in some profound ways, and now we're finally going to be telling Arkansas and the world how cool we are.
But Arkansas's story in Black music doesn't end in the past. It continues to resonate on global stages to this day.
I still have you.
Growing up in Arkansas has been probably the most valuable attribute or quality that I can boast of.
One of those artists is Grammy-winning gospel singer Smokey Norfolk. Raised in Pine Bluff, his soulful sound has reached audiences around the world.
I need you now.
I count it an honor to be able to, first of all, just be from Arkansas, needless to say, but also to be able to do that and represent gospel music, more importantly, the God of gospel music. That is the most important thing, most powerful thing that I think anybody could ever do. So I am honored and humbled every time. It doesn't matter whether it's from my local stage in Pine Bluff, Arkansas as a teenager, all the way to the convention center of Pine Bluff and then, to the Grammys.
Like Norfolk, many Black musicians from Arkansas found their foundation in the church, where spirituality and sound often walk hand in hand. But that spiritual start can lead to vastly different stages.
My name is Kristen Lewis. I'm an international opera singer.
From church pews to concert halls in Europe, her voice carries not just notes, but her Arkansas pride everywhere she goes.
Just believe in yourself. Don't allow for anything to stand in your way. Being from Arkansas is not a drawback in any way. I'm proof of that. Arkansas has a great history of wonderful musicians. There are other famous opera singers from Arkansas, so I'm following in a very strong legacy, and I'm very proud of that as well. And I'm glad to represent the state of Arkansas globally.
While Kristen found a global stage to share her natural state influences, another Arkansas native discovered a deeper appreciation for the musical impact of his hometown.
My name is Epiphany Morrow. Most folks call me Piff because they don't like all those syllables. And I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, but also rep very hard for Little Rock too.
And even with the name known across the country and around the world, Epiphany Morrow says home is always in his sound.
That's how you get down, chilling with them extra regular. Hello, bros, that's in the leaf for trailing us.
When I really got immersed in music, it was so many different artists across the country and then world. And it was then almost retroactively going back and understanding like where their sound originally came from. And then understanding that place of where I came from. And then kind of like getting the pride and boasting from that.
The music he grew up on, rooted in the Delta, influences more than his style.
I almost didn't understand and recognize the influence of the Delta till I left. If you look at like blues, it arguably influenced all music henceforth in America, right? So I think now more than ever, people are tracing back culture and tracing back history. You can't not come through the Delta. You can't not stop through Arkansas.
And that's why he continues to uplift, create, and celebrate with pride.
So good, so good, so good, got me feeling like.
To me, it's very much of understanding that this music that came from us has been a method of enduring and empowerment in a sense of like strength, like I need to share my story because it's been so hard and we're trying to figure it out. But it's also been a thing of like celebration and exaltation of the fact of like how great we are, right?
A feeling that resonates across genres and proof that Black music in Arkansas isn't just history. It's a living, beating, moving legacy. a celebration of sound.
But now I'm out here, know why? 'Cause ain't a brother like me.
Trials we've undergone as black people and the fact we overcome so much and put out so much dope, that is why we celebrate.
Nah, there ain't a brother like, there ain't a brother like, there ain't a brother like me.
My name is Rodney Block, local Little Rock musician. I'm a creative. I play the trumpet and I play all sorts of music.
Building something up while staying rooted in hometown pride and community.
From Dumas, Arkansas.
What's funny? What are you laughing at? What's funny about that?
I don't know, it's always funny to me when Dumas.
While his beginnings may seem small, Rodney's traveled the world, playing everything from jazz, classical music, Afrobeats, and country music. And he does it while carrying the names of people you may not even realize got their start right here in the natural state.
People know Louis Jordan, Brinkley, Arkansas, Al Green, soul music, gospel musician. I think Arkansas is still developing what that Arkansas sound is. It's not because that the artists are not here. It's not because the artists are not making an impact, because we've made an impact.
That impact continues through Emmy-nominated composer, performing artist, and producer Daz King Honey Murray.
You'd be surprised. I've been categorized as a rapper with a guitar in hand.
Her sound bends genres from Black Baptist roots to rock to punk and to hip hop. And she says it all starts with where she's from.
I mean, the South defines sound in general, I believe. I love Arkansas because the breeding ground is so rich. I mean, we literally have diamonds in our ground here. You know, like that, who else can say that? You know, such rich soil and so much grows from here, and I believe it's because we have such a vast space and opportunity for creatives.
Like many other artists, Daz says her musical journey started by connecting with other Arkansas musicians.
When I started in this industry here, Bijou was one of my first stops.
Daughter of West African parents, Bijou says it's her Arkansas roots that help that community feel, grow, and flourish.
I'm very proud to perform in Arkansas. I'm very proud to be on tour in Arkansas, which is what I tell people. People ask me if I travel. I say I've been on tour in Arkansas for 17 years.
A vocal powerhouse who grew up immersed in rock, pop, country, and Catholic hymns, Bijou says her focus is simple.
While you can be a purist and say that this specific thing is bluegrass, this is traditional country, this is R&B, this is neo-soul, to a certain extent, I'm not so concerned about that until it's Grammy time. Did I do a show that people enjoyed? Do people like the music? Are the songs good?
But it's more than that, as all three work to build a community of collaboration.
I have been fortunate to work, I think I'm in like 7 bands today, Arkansans, and we don't have to go look for, let's go find somebody from Philly. It'll be so much better then. Like, no, we get to work with hometown.
For these 3 artists, genre isn't a limit, it's a tool. And home isn't a stepping stone, it's a foundation and a place to build on the legacy already established.
I think if you feel led, go, but what you'll find is that everything that you get from out there has some kind of tie back, right back to Arkansas.
Music can take you anywhere you want to go. That's the great thing about it. So it's great to be from Arkansas and Dumas and tell people that I'm a country boy.
We've reflected on the state's deep musical roots, from the Delta Blues to the Chitlin Circuit, from gospel churches to global stages.
I need you now.
We've seen how artists across genres take pride in calling Arkansas home.
Took a stumble but never fumbled to bow down.
Now, we look at what's next.
As far as the young people, it gives them an opportunity, it's structure, and then it's getting them ready for the future. 1, 2, 3, out, take it back.
In a world full of noise, Daryl McField is teaching kids how to find their rhythm.
Play one more time, stronger.
In the hearts of many, he's simply Mr. Mac, founder of the Mr. Mac Learning and Arts Center. And for decades, he's built more than a program. He's built a safe space where kids can dream bigger.
Music is so much a part of education. For example, my students, we learn how to count rhythms. That's mathematics. All those things you need on a job, like learning how to work with others, learning to be on time. All those, music gives you all of those.
Mr. Mack says one of the most important things he prioritizes for his students is exposure, including trips to perform on national stages, like at the historically Black liberal arts college, Morris Brown. He says these moments set them up to not only be good musicians, but good, well-rounded citizens. Down the road along I-40, something powerful is happening. At the West Wind School for Performing Arts, founder Teresa Timmons is building more than talent. She's building legacy.
The keyboard, the sax. Do you play the trumpet?
And she's doing it through music, movement, and meaning.
We dance, we sing, we have theater and orchestra. And so we're really tapping into our creatives' talents and creating artists, creating music, and supporting dreams.
One example of that growth, Little Rock native Riley Pegas. He may play like a pro, but his journey is far from finished.
Since I've been at West Wind, I got better and better. And then I started to learn how to read music at West Wind in my 8th grade year, because before I didn't know nothing about reading music.
The investment is clear, but paying for it is another story.
Grants have been frozen, funding has been cut, and so we need the community to come together to really support each other.
We need to wake up and get this funding back into these schools and get these band programs with some money so these kids can have something to do and something to feel proud about. So whatever you do, you got to make sure, number one, you're working to be the best. A lot of times people think giving back is financial. Giving back is being there.
They say music saves, heals, and inspires. A journey that starts by investing in children who may one day carry Arkansas's legacy to the world stage.
They are our legacy. And so when you create your music studio, like Riley, and you become a big producer or a major musician, always come back home.
So here's to legacy, the future, and everything in between.